Stories now under politics. Reactions are trailing comments from Senate President Godswill Akpabio, who declared that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration is already transforming Nigeria. Speaking at the signing of the NIMC Act 2026 on Friday, Akpabio commended the National Assembly for translating the president's vision into law, saying Nigeria will never remain the same again after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu leaves office. Let's take a look.
Mr. President, I don't think, if I speak, we are going to reopen the debate on why we pass this piece of legislation for you to assent to become an act of parliament today. But let me say it's part of your innovation, part of your intuition, part of your reforms for Nigeria. You have promised that under your tenure, by the time you are through, that Nigeria will never be the same again. So even from the achievement so far made by the Ministry of Interior in terms of identifying and picking up criminals at the point of entry, it shows that even before assenting to this bill, that a bill is already working. And my brother has also mentioned the advantages.
Well, Rufai, Nigerians online are firing back, pointing to rampant insecurity, hardship and poverty, asking what exactly has transformed for the better. I'll take Daniel's post on X. He wrote, Akpabio is right. Nigeria hasn't remained the same under Tinubu's administration. We are truly witnessing it. Things have progressively gotten worse to the point where Buhari's regime is arguably better. And that says a lot. Meanwhile, a viral clip of the Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, is setting social media on fire after the monarch delivered a pointed critique of the National Assembly, declaring that a legislature that cannot stand up to the executive is simply an arm of the executive, not an independent branch of government. Let's take a look.
You have a legislature that's supposed to make laws, that's supposed to check and balance the executive. If the legislature cannot stand up to the executive, and it's an arm of the executive, that is not a strong legislature. The National Assembly was the one that passed the law. The law said you cannot lend more than 5% of last year's revenue. That law was broken with impunity. Where was the National Assembly? I was called before the National Assembly more than 20 times on every small matter. Central Bank, federal character, this one. I was hauled and harassed and disturbed, and all of a sudden, for 8 years, the National Assembly was silent. I said, can the National Assembly tolerate this? So this is about institutions. As an institution, the legislature was supposed to call this, they passed the law to make sure that that law was being complied with. If we had that pressure from the legislature, pressure from economists, pressure from international analysts, it would have been very difficult for these things to have continued and for us to be where we are.
Well, Sanusi's words are widely interpreted as a direct attack on the 10th National Assembly under Senate President Godswill Akpabio, which many Nigerians describe as a rubber stamp for the Tinubu administration. Meanwhile, the NDC has accused INEC of blocking it from uploading its candidates on the official nomination portal just days after a Kogi State High Court ordered INEC to deregister the NDC. The party is appealing the ruling, calling it a temporary setback, and obedient supporters are furious, accusing INEC of being weaponized against the opposition ahead of 2027. And you know, INEC has not officially responded, but this story is much bigger than a portal access code. Prominent banker and commentator Atedo Peterside has weighed in, putting the spotlight squarely on what he calls judicial rascality. And I'll read Atedo's post on X. He wrote, "The cure for judicial rascality is disciplinary action. Glossing over rascality while relying on appeal courts alone to overturn obnoxious judgments encourages more judges to go into the lucrative business of delivering procurable, obnoxious judgments. And, you know, all eyes on the judiciary all over again. We had that in 2023. Now we're having it again ahead of the 2027 election. I'd like for you to tie in all the stories.
All of them.
Legislature and now the judiciary.
Number one, Oji, the police in Oyo debunked the story and was saying back and forth. Is it the same police that called a video of bandits, police hating bandits?
All right.
Is it the same police that called that video vigilante?
The same police, Rufai on fire.
It's the same police.
And I got the report from a security.
Oji, I like to take the things that the police says with a pinch of salt.
But it's our duty to report their
own side. And you know, everything, Oji, they will always debunk. The same police that came out to issue a statement and said, oh, the picture of the police waving at bandits, despite the fact that the Hausa interpretation has come out.
Yes.
It says vigilante. Till today, they've not had the sense to come and apologize to Nigeria that, oh, we made a mistake, or even lie and say it's AIU.
Yeah.
It's the same police that is debunking. If you believe them, you believe them at your own peril.
Right.
It's sad that that institution is gone. Just like the Sanusi Lamido said,
right,
and Akpabio is saying now, Senate President, what do you expect Akpabio to say? This has been one of his greatest time, being Senate President, and he will always support the government that has given him a lot of leeway. He will support the government against the people. But we all know that the Senate is even worse than a rubber stamp. National Assembly. In fact, it is defaming the word rubber stamp to call them rubber stamp. In fact, they are an arm of President Tinubu's presidency as we speak today. Don't even call them a rubber stamp. You are defaming the word rubber stamp to call the National Assembly rubber stamp. They are an arm of the presidency as we speak today. The same people that turn National Assembly, that change, national anthem in the space of how many days? The same people that said they will investigate the variations in the tax laws, till today the committee has not brought out their reports. Is it the same people you are listening to? What will he say? In fact, he will call President Tinubu's government El Dorado. The same government that finds it difficult to be able to fulfill its budgetary requirement. The same government that went ahead to still do the loan swap deal that the IMF cautioned us against doing with the Dubai Bank. The same government that under which poverty has increased to about 63%. The same government that we now have a high level of insecurity. The same government where you have bandits having the effrontery to be able to travel for Hajj operations and come back. Anyway, we are happy that Olubu Bitunji Ojo's technology caught them. The same government where generals are being killed. Right. So if you say things are better, we believe you, because we have never seen this level of low in our lives. As regards the rescue, we are excited about the rescue, and we commend the police. Kusaye for bandits. But Dr. Abati, was saying that they are coming here. Dr. Abati, they've always been in our bushes. Go to Ondo and see skirmishes that happen. It is not the same people that killed people when Ogbeni Akeredolu was still there in the Owo massacre. Are these not the same people that killed Pafasoroti's daughter that made the leaders in the Southwest to set up Amotekun? So it's always been there.
All right.
And Sanusi Lamido pointing out the faults of the national, he's had his own fair share. So he's talking from experience. Even the judiciary, is it any better? I placed a bet here on the table. I said nothing will happen to Justice Lifu as regards his judgments. Has anything happened to him?
All right.
It's not just going to be condemnation.
All right.
So you see, if we had a state by today, Oji, we should have a crack team already investigating phone calls and personal details of those justices that are making errant judgment to be able to bring investigation out.
We should bring this.
Let me go back. When Muhammadu Buhari cracked those judges then and brought all sorts of investigations against them, although a lot of them scaled through those judges, we called him name and tyrant and everything.
All right.
Maybe it is time to start reading the judges again.
Well said, Rufai. Well said. Thank you for your submission. We'll take this heartbreaking account, which is emerging from Kaduna State. As a husband of a woman lynched by a mob has made a shocking allegation saying that the police handed his wife to the mob and watched them burn her alive. Mohammed Aliyu said his wife, Malama Umu Kari Usman, who is an Islamic school teacher and mother of 4, was traveling to an Islamic lecture in Maraban, Jos, when she stopped to ask children for direction and was forcefully accused of child theft by residents who then formed a mob. He said police took her into protective custody, but then the DPO allegedly led her back outside, straight into the hands of the waiting mob, who lynched and burned her alive. A video showing the scene has gone viral on social media. Viewer discretion is advised. Let's take a look.
Yanzu dai matan da ake zarginta da satan yaran ne, tuni al'umma an kasa shawo kansu. Nan take dai sun kashe matar kuma sun cinna mata wuta. Yanzu haka wannan hayaki da ake kallo gawar matan da ake zargin ne suka kashe ta, kuma aka sanya mata wuta a daidai wannan lokacin. To dai da yake abu zargi ne.
Well, the Nigerian police force has denied the allegation, but the Inspector General of Police has ordered an independent probe into the officer's conduct. 40 or more suspects have been arraigned. Governor Sani has condemned the killing in the strongest terms, describing it as barbaric and unacceptable, and announced that his administration will cater for the upkeep of Muhammad Aliyu and fund the education of their 4 children. Let's take a look.
All the people are involved, no matter the number. We will ensure that justice is done. And the fact of the matter is that nobody will kill an innocent person, cannot sit and go free without anything. And as a government, we made it clear, those charged with culpable homicide certainly will face the law. In a situation like this, everyone must be investigated, including the police. They are doing their best, but we have to ensure that everyone must come clean in the course of this investigation. And the government of Kaduna State will take care of all the family of the deceased, particularly her children and her husband.
41 persons have been charged with culpable homicide. A teacher, a mother, forcefully accused, has died needlessly. Nigerians are demanding justice for the late teacher and her family. May her soul rest in peace. Your thoughts?
May her soul rest in peace. This is incredibly sad, but I think it gives us a sense of what the temperature of the nation is currently. There's heightened anger, and people are people are reluctant to wait for the justice process because they feel that the justice process has failed them time and time again, or perhaps they do not see that justice is being served, and therefore they take matters into their own hands. With the spate, I mean, look at what Senator Shomole said earlier in the show about kidnappers, that let's just kill them, publicly execute them. And this is an admission of the failure of states to arrest the situation. And this is what we see in Kaduna State, because what happened was that the woman was around children and the community erroneously thought that she was a kidnapper, and without giving her the opportunity to defend herself or for the justice system in Nigeria to play its course, they took matters into their own hands, and we saw jungle justice at play. And if we're not careful, and this is why we keep on a daily basis encouraging the government to do something about the insecurity and the spate of kidnapping, because after a while the people get tired and they will take matters into their own hands, and then we have a state of anarchy. We descend into a state of anarchy when people begin to behave in a barbaric manner in such a manner. So having come out, and the glee, I think it's just sad, and the same thing that happened in Ozora that we're talking about in Delta State. Yes. The glee with which Nigerians come out to stone or to do things that ought to be shameful, ought to be studied. There's a psychological impact of the level of trauma that Nigeria has faced in recent times based on insecurity, terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, rape, and all kinds of manner of stories that we have. So there is an intolerance of crime. However, it does not in any way justify jungle justice. Now, with the police officer, the DPO that was in question, yes, the report says that they actually took the lady initially in to provide her some form of safety, but hundreds of mobs, a mob came to the police station, and I'm not speaking in defense of the DPO, but sometimes they become so overwhelmed by the people that it almost seems as if they sacrificed the woman in order to say, because anything could have happened. They could have set the police station ablaze. They could have attacked the police officers. And so that's another thing around the fact that even the police officers are overwhelmed. They cannot control the situation. After a while, the people overwhelm the security operatives, and that is very, very dangerous. But let an investigation be held.
Okay, this is not the last time this would happen, because we have a reign of impunity in this country. People take the laws into their hands, and it will happen again because they always get away with it. You remember the case of Deborah Samuel in 2022 May, the student at a college of education in Sokoto. There was also a woman in Abuja, Eunice Elisha, who was said to be preaching.
Eunice Olawale?
Elisha. You know, who was said to be preaching early morning, and then religious fanatics set her ablaze.
Nothing of Bridget.
We have many examples like that. So they get away with it, so it happens. About the police, we cannot give any excuse. The job of the police is to protect lives and property. And they say that the police is your friend. Well, where the police fails to be your friend, it also shows, you know, the weakness of institutions and the failure of that institution. So we cannot excuse it. Well, it's a good thing that Governor of Kaduna State says justice will be done. That is the barest minimum that the state can do. And he's one of those governors who support the state police. You know, his commitment
you're
is to...
absolutely right, Dr. Abati. I hope this will be a different sort of case, because the governor is involved at this point, and he has promised to take care of the family, and he has said that the police or whoever that is guilty of this crime will be charged. So, I mean, it's good that we're seeing a proactive governor at this point tackling this menace in the north.